Hello, my name is Peregrine. I'm an Overwatch elitist, and I think the game is meant to be played specifically how I play it, and everyone else is playing it wrong. As an incredible flex player who can play everything except hitscan to at least Diamond, I believe that one-tricking is essentially the devil's play, and is a horrifying sin. So today, I'm going to let you heathens know exactly what I think about your dirty, dastardly one-tricking ways, starting with the community's most notable one-tricks, the tanks. Hammond, A tier. Wrecking Ball is a spectacular tank to watch in game. The way in which Ball plays at a high level is comparable to a form of art, with fluid movements and blunt force trauma, barely needing to whip out his guns. It truly is a beautiful sight to behold. However, there is one small problem, and she's a purple Mexican. Your one trick having a literal hard counter that shuts down your game massively is a huge turn off to playing the character, and goddamn there are so many soft ball counters that you can't ban them all. But regardless, it's still an art form. Doomfist, C tier. Doomfist is an interesting character because I admire the gameplay of a good Doom, however it's not as beautiful as a Wrecking Ball, and his right click is really fucking clunky. I would have been willing to give Doomfist a B tier just from the amount of skill it takes to get value out of the character. However, the community that surrounds this particular character are fucking cancerous individuals who will do nothing but moan about the game, then continue to log 40 hours a week on a single character, which is kind of strange. The Ramatra, D tier. I have zero respect for Ramatra one-tricks. Ramatra is probably the most brain-dead tank in the game, which is impressive considering he's up against Mauga and Roadhog for that title. Ramatra one-tricks are interested in one thing and one thing only, ranking up as quickly as possible. Why? It's numbers on the screen, they don't mean anything. There's nothing interesting about ranking up in a video game. No one cares about that outside the game. You're actively choosing to not have fun while ranking up. Because bigger number, better person, I don't get it. The only reason Ramatra isn't E tier is due to how reliable and powerful Ramatra always is, and probably always will be because Team 4 refused to nerf his block. Yeah, okay, you might have a sweaty, ugly paedophile on tank, but at least he'll help you win, if you know what I mean. D.Va, S tier. One-trick and D.Va is probably one of, if not the best tank to one-trick in the game. Her skill floor is quite low, but her skill ceiling is infinite. Watching D.Va play at the highest tiers is always a treat. She has the second best ability in the game, incredible burst damage potential, and the best damage mitigation ability in the game, and way too much armor. It's very rare that D.Va is a bad option to one-trick. Her most common counter, Zarya, isn't even that good against her if you play it right. Judging from 10 years of experience, D.Va will probably never not be good, mostly due to defense matrix. Jungle Queen, D tier. I have a few questions. Mostly just why? Out of all the tanks in the game, you pick the one that will probably never be viable ever again, and it's little more than a third DPS with more health. Although yes, it is fun to watch two teams smack into each other and jolt, and it is a good feeling to hit a knife and pulling into carnage, but once the enemy swaps to Kiriko, your entire character is massively negated, which is really crazy when you had very little impact in the first place. I suppose I respect the hostile at least. Reinhardt, B tier. Oh, Reinhardt, my beloved. Regardless of how shit the hero is, you stagger onwards, smacking the shit, blood and cum out of enemies because you really like hitting them with a hammer, and providing protection for your team. It's charming, really. It's a shame he's so unbelievably dogshit, and even more so that he has the reputation as the Reddit wholesome chungus guy. I respect Reinhardt one-tricks, really. I just don't want them on my team. Sigma, A tier. A brilliant character to one-trick. Sigma is a jack of all trades, master of none. Poke, you got it. Brawl, sounds good. Anti-dive? By God, he's done it again. Dive? Well, with a jetpack cat, anything's possible. Sigma will always be a ranked warlord, and provides both excellent defensive and offensive utility to provide to a team. My one question is, Sigma? Really? As a one-trick? I don't think I've ever met a single Sigma one-trick in my life. He gets kind of stale after a while, but really, Sigma? I don't know. Seems weird. Seems like a very autistic pick. I don't know. You do you. Zarya, C tier. Zarya is a good character to one-trick until she isn't. She's in a similar position to Junker Queen where it's clear that you just want to play DPS but without being so squishy. I don't know, maybe it's just my hatred for Gaming for Hope playing up, but I think that Zarya is a massively unethical tank, especially when paired with Reaper. Also, the gameplay loop is really fucking monotonous. I don't know how you do it. Anyway, I would be happy to see you on the enemy team, because I go Reinhardt, you lose. Haha. Orisa, A tier. Okay, I know this sounds crazy because Orisa is one of those tanks that people shit on, but I've always had a big soft spot for Orisa. She is like a super ranked warrior, and a good tank to have for reliable damage and a defensive utility. I feel like no one is upset seeing an Orisa on their team or the enemy teams either. She slaps herself down where she wants and she stays there, and you know what? I respect that mentality. Looking after a team like a ferocious mama bear, which is ironic considering she's 1 year old. A big baby. Roadhog, C tier. Fuck you, man. I don't want to see you on my team, I don't want to see you on the enemy team. The only reason you're not D, because you just got fucking hyper buffed and now you can do damage and heal your team, which is slightly better for your team at least. It's still a wildly selfish tank pick, as you do jack shit in the way of tanking, but in fairness, the community around Roadhog is usually willing to take a joke. Except Six, fuck that guy. Malga, D tier. Malga used to be C tier for me because I enjoyed his personality and silly gameplay loop. There's definitely something fun about turning your brain off and running up in someone's face and shooting them until they burn to death. However, for whatever reason, Malga one-tricks have this strange victim complex when their brain-dead character gets called brain-dead. And it's just strange. Like about a month ago when I made the video going over tank balance, there was this one guy in the comments who wrote a fucking essay about why I was wrong and how I'm disabled and need to die or whatever. So I called him Plat and deleted the comment. Then like 5 days later he found me in a Discord and then atted me 7 times while I was asleep, calling me a retard and spamming me with pictures of his GM Marauder account. Like, it was a few days later, so I'd forgot who this guy was. I had no idea what the fuck was going on. There was just some guy atting me like a million times, and I woke up, I was like, what? What the fuck's going on? Like, after that happened, for like another 3 weeks later, whenever I spoke in that Discord, he'd always be like, you're not funny. You're not funny. You're not funny. Like, man, I don't know. Like, I can't take Malga players seriously anymore. This guy's like single-handedly ruined the community for me. Hazard, B tier. At this moment in time, Hazard is overpowered as fuck, but one-tricking him still feels like a bit of a mistake. I can feel it in my bones. This guy is one patch away from being completely fucking irrelevant like he used to be. He's a really fun character, and his kit is really interesting. He's good to have as a main or a backup pick, but I don't see very good returns on one-tricking him, but hey, I can't deny how fun he is. Domina, A tier. Domina's kit is wildly overtuned and powerful. I feel like no team is ever unhappy when playing with the Domina, although she certainly has many counters. Most of them feel like soft counters rather than having any insane hard counters. She's a pretty safe character to one-trick, and Jesus fucking Christ, if you can listen to her voice for hours and not get bored. Winston, S tier. Winston is, has, and always will be the second best tank in the game to one-trick. His skill floor is so fucking low, but his ceiling is infinite. There isn't a tank in the game that scratches the itch the same way Winston does. Everything about the character, from the simplistic kit design, the low damage yet somehow instantly killing me gun, the primal juggling, the shield dancing, the melee landing, the right click sniping, everything about Winston is fucking brilliant. He can play into any enemy comp with little issue. Playing him feels great, watching him feels great, playing against him feels great, and sure, if you want to rank up, learn Ram or Diva, but if you're looking to Whimsy max and Funds max, learn the Monkey. And of course, as I am contractually obliged, I'm going to thank my eggs. Cameron Wilson fan, Cherry Balls, God Noodle, Lord Gracchus, Persistent, Despair, Brian, Zoe. As I am contractually obliged to do, I'm going to thank my eggs. Cameron Wilson fan, Cherry Balls, God Noodle, Lord Gracchus, Persistent, Despair, Brian, Zoe, Freya, Gothic Dino, and Slate Rex. Thank you for your continued support.